G Suite. I'll do my best to give their flavor of the month of the name of the product. So it's called G Suite now. It used to be called Google Apps, and it's a great tool, and it's one that is built around, like I said, communication and collaboration. But if you're talking about running a business in all different forms and fashions, no matter what industry you're in, you need more than just a communication and a collaboration tool, right? You need kind of job-specific stuff. So when you have sales-specific apps like CRM comes to mind, you need marketing apps, right? Like we talked about. You need support apps or for your customer support teams. Accounting makes sense, right? Google doesn't have an accounting package. And finally, you might need some that just don't quite fit into a certain category. You might need custom apps specific for your business. And of course, Google's going to give you not much guidance on how to build a custom application that is designed for your business. So kind of just talking a little bit about that. So we have the G Suite tool. So a great opportunity to communicate. You can store some documents. You can manage all these admins with the passwords in the admin console from G Suite. And of course, you can use the collaboration tools, groundbreaking industry stuff that came out several years ago that really changed how the industries throughout the world would share. I mean, how many of you guys remember taking a spreadsheet and sending it over and getting one guy's or gal's revision and then having to go to another person, having to go to another person, have another person, and you got version 17 before it came back, and you made one small change in a cell that wasn't in the table and matrix and all this other stuff. And, we have our own tools that do the same. Everyone's kind of decided that collaboration is the way to go. And plus, they make really cool Hall & Oates type commercials where Hall & Oates or Man-Eater, I think is what it was. But Zoho comes in and, like I said, gives you that more verticalized offering, right? So if you're a salesperson, you need to use a CRM tool. Well, right now, Google doesn't have one. And so, why not choose the best-in-class sales products or the marketing products like Sales IQ or Campaigns? And again, hopefully, and it is in our case, very, very tightly integrated with G Suite. And, we have 37 different products. Today's 37, tomorrow maybe 38. We seem to be going at a rapid pace with our product development. And you can see that we have a product or a suite of products for every job in mind, right? So CRM Plus is a perfect example. CRM Plus gives you sales, marketing, support, project management applications all into one bundle. But it doesn't give you email. It doesn't give you documentation or management or storage, right? So you still need Google Apps for that, or G Suite in this case. So we kind of come in and fit some of the holes that they have, and vice versa, right? So a little bit more about Zoho's relationship with Google. And we have been an inaugural partner. Obviously, that means that since inception with the G Suite Marketplace. So when Google Apps decided, hey, we're going to put together some offerings for our customers, we worked with them from day one on placing CRM and some other tools on the marketplace. We are the largest vendor in the marketplace, and when I say largest, it's the number of applications we have on the marketplace is close to 30 now applications on the marketplace that you can go in, you can download, and you can try. We're actually now recently, Google about say 6 months ago, they put together a program called Recommended by Google. All right, and so sits kind of at the top as a new Google Suite, G Suite user. You come into the page, and right at the top of the page is some recommended applications for certain disciplines. So they have sales management applications that are recommended. They have finance applications that are recommended, so on and so forth. And Zoho Invoice. Zoho Invoice is chosen by Google as the recommended financial package that they pitch to their customers, whether they're new users or existing users. So we're very, very proud and honored to be selected by Google as one of the recommended products. Criteria for choosing who was going to be a recommended program was very detailed and very analytical. There was a lot of thought put together on how the selection was done. And out of all the tools that they had done to that date, we had met the criteria, that we had met the strongest criteria. We had crushed through all their little thresholds for, does it convert well? Does it? Do the customers like it? The reviews good? So last but not least, integrations outside of G Suite, right? So our partnership extends past G Suite into things like AdWords, analytics, and Android. So AdWords and CRM integration really closes that loop, right? So if you're using AdWords and you're using that to generate a lot of business for you and a lot of leads, a lot of times those leads come in and we never get back and tie that in to AdWords and say, here's the keyword information, here's the campaign, here's the cost associated with that keyword, here's the revenue that we gained from that particular campaign. So it really allows this kind of full circle connection to where information from the CRM, like closed deals that were won or closed deals that were lost, actually come back to AdWords, and you have them all both in the same place. So when you're building a campaign or you're bidding on keywords in the AdWords tool, you can say, okay, well, maybe that's past the bid I want to go to because it's only netted me $1,000 in sales this quarter. So it's a really cool integration. It's actually one that we approached Google with, and that was out of a selfish need, right? So we were a heavy spender on AdWords, and we didn't know which keywords were performing well for us. And so we decided to approach them and said, hey, can we build an integration with AdWords through our CRM? And we feel like all of our joint customers will really benefit from that. And they said, yeah, absolutely. And we're still to this day the only vendor out there that integrates with AdWords. So it's a really neat thing. Same thing on the analytics side. We have some really cool integration points with Google Analytics that, again, works on the website traffic information. Sales IQ also works well with Google Analytics. Again, breadth and depth, right? So there's over 75 different points of integration between Zoho and Google. We have closer, like I said, not quite to the 30 mark, but we're really close to those late 20s as far as number of integrated apps. So if you think about 35 plus apps that we offer, we almost have 90% of them in an integration with Google. And that number probably needs to be updated every time I do this presentation because it keeps rolling and rolling up. But we're over 130,000 joint customers together between the two of us. So when we talk about integration, right, and we talk about Zoho integrating with Google or G Suite, it's not just, hey, here's a single sign-on connection, right? You can use, of course, you can do that. You can use your G Suite login to log into CRM or any other tools from Zoho, but that's probably our shallowest integration. Most of the integration are what I consider to be very contextual integrations where information that you may need from G Suite. Maybe you need contact information from Gmail, or perhaps there's a document in Google Drive that you really need to have proliferated out across your Zoho products. That's the contextual integration that we're talking about. It's an opportunity to really have that data that you need in whichever system you're in, right? So if you live and die in Gmail and you're just pumping along and replying to emails, it may make sense to have the information from CRM about, are they a big customer? Are they a satisfied customer? Do they have open support tickets? Are they part of the leadership of one of your largest customers? That may change your reply, right? You may say, well, first thing I wanted to say is, Mr. Customer, I see that there's an open support ticket. By the way, I checked with the support team, and they're continuing to work on it. Here's a brief little update. And then you get on to, oh, by the way, I'm trying to sell you, my new widget, right? Because, again, we've all done that as salespeople. Gone in and thought we were just talking about the current sale, and the customer's like, well, there's quite a bit of an issue with the support ticket that I have that's 2 weeks overdue, right? So having that contextual information is very valuable, and it actually makes you look like you're really knowing what you're doing. So we provide that for you. So as I mentioned, that was just kind of a brief overview of all the different connection pieces between the two. But we're going to specifically spend the next couple of minutes talking about CRM and G Suite, right? So as I mentioned, we don't have to go over this too much, but they're two totally different products, right? One is doing, on the CRM side, you're kind of managing your customers, and it's a data repository for all your customer information and prospects. And then the G Suite also has customer information and prospect information and Gmail, right? But it's solely designed to kind of message back and forth for that. So the beautiful thing when you come in, you add a a cool little slide transition, right? And you bring all of them into one place, and that's what the integrations do. So I spent enough time doing that. I kind of wanted to show you a little bit about how this is all done. So this is available to everyone. It's wide open on the public interwebs. And essentially, this is the documentation for setting up all the integration points within Zoho and Google's G Suite. I'll take a step back here actually and look at the Google integrations as a whole, an overview. And there's actually a clear distinction between what we do with the Google integration. So there's Google integration, right, which is if you just have a Gmail account, and then there is a Google Apps or /G Suite integration. Those of you would be able to connect your Gmail with your CRM, your contacts, your calendar, all that stuff can be synchronized. But you don't have a Google Drive account, right? So the stuff that goes over how to connect Google Drive with CRM, you guys wouldn't have. So there's just a couple of things. There's just one or two steps that you need to do as an administrator. So if you're not the administrator of the account, the first thing you need to do is go into the marketplace and or have your administrator go into the marketplace and add Zoho CRM as a approved application, right? So your administrator can do that, download it, and turn it on for everyone. If you're the administrator, the good news is maybe you only want to turn that on for your sales team or your marketing team or both of those teams and not your project management team or not your support team. You can do that within the admin console and align the users or groups of users that you want to have access to Zoho CRM. So real quick, for those of you that are just using a Google account, these are the things that you can do. And this I can blow up for you. So you can synchronize your contacts and your calendar with your Google account. And then for those of you that are interested in the AdWords, steps, this is all how you configure all this. It's like 4 or 5 easy steps to do. It takes a little bit of work on both sides, adding a little bit of snippets of code on your website. So if you're not a website HTML person, then you might need to have a little bit of assistance there. And then this is primarily what we're going to be focusing on for the rest of the time here, talking a little bit about CRM with Google Apps or G Suite users. So as I mentioned, it's important to have your administrator download this. And let's just take a quick look at some of these. I won't go into a full demo mode, but obviously one of the first things you'll want to do is probably synchronize your contacts in Google Apps to Zoho CRM and vice versa. You can actually turn on a two-way sync. So if you create a new contact with an email address, which you would in CRM, and you want to show that in Google Contacts, it'll show up there, and then vice versa. The one thing that I caution people here is to segment your contacts in Google Contacts. For example, can't avoid it. We all do it. We have personal contacts that we email from our business account, whatnot. You probably don't want your aunt in your CRM, right? You're not going to sell her anything. So I would segment out all the personal contacts into a separate contact group within Google Contacts before you sync, because otherwise it's just going to sync whatever you have in there. So create a personal one, create whatever segmentation that you want, and then once you do that, you can choose which groups within Google Contacts that you want to sync to the CRM, right? So that'd be the first step I would suggest you guys do here. But it's a very simple and easy synchronization. Most of this stuff is done with just a matter of 2 or 3 easy steps to follow. And the bad news is for you administrators in the house that want to do this for your users, we actually do it at the user level. And again, at the user level, if I'm an admin and say, sync your contacts, again, I'm going to sync your aunt, your uncle, whatever. So it's better to let the individual user decide what they want to sync and what they don't. So real simple. When you go into CRM, you click Settings, you go to the Google Contact Sync, and you get this kind of page here which basically has the groupings of the Google contacts. So again, right now it says My Contacts, but like you might want to just label it Business Contacts or whatever, and then you sync it to a view in CRM. Do you want them to go as leads? Do you want them to go as contacts? However you want to sync those up, and then you choose whether it's a two-way sync or if you want one of them to be the master and the slave, essentially. So, for example, if you want to really have all your contact information in Google, but if you create a new contact in CRM, you only want it to stay in CRM, you would select push from Google to Zoho CRM contacts, right? So once you choose the sync option, you also have to put, essentially step number 7 here, which says select one of the following options where the conflict, if there is a conflict, who's the master, right? So you get to choose at that point if there is John Doe in both places, but it's, say J-O-N and one's J-O-H-N. If it's the same contact and everything else matches up, which one do you want to be kind of the override, right? So it's essentially 11 steps by the numbering system that we have, but the first like 3 or 4 steps are just click on this and do that. So it's really just a matter of once you get to the screen, it's about 3 steps to do. So let's go back and look at contacts is one. Mail is another one that now has become really, really super easy to do. I'll talk a little bit about the Contextual Gadget. So the Contextual Gadget for Gmail basically gives you a little window inside Gmail with that information that I was mentioning about the contact from CRM. So if you had a lead, if you had, let me just show you what it looks like here so we can talk about it. So this thing right here, right within Gmail, you get this contextual information. Are there potentials? Are there notes? Are there tasks? Do you want to create a new potential? So again, you're talking to the customer, you're about to send them the quote from your Gmail, and you say, hey, while I'm at it, I might as well add the potential into Zoho CRM. You can do this all within Gmail and never have to switch tabs or open up a browser to go into CRM. Same thing with tasks, right? Obviously, I talk about potentials, or now we've labeled it deals, but we talk about that as the big money maker. But oftentimes, again, this allows you just to stay right within that window and keep pounding away at the emails and the phone calls, and then never really have to go into CRM to add the little rudimentary task to remind themselves to follow up in a week or 2 weeks or whatever it may be. So you can see step number 4 is save. So we've got 3 simple steps to add a potential, and the same thing with notes, leads, or contacts is very simple to do. And you can see here when you add a lead or contact, the email address will show up as, so let's say it's a new prospect and you're just getting an email like, hey, read about your website, read about your product, and I'd like more information. This is a brand new email that you get in your Gmail inbox. It'll look up into CRM and it'll say, you know what, I've never seen this email before. Doesn't seem to be existing in your CRM. Do you want to add them as a lead or a contact? So again, from Gmail, you can quickly go in there. You can add them as a contact, add them as a lead, or also, like I said, create a potential right from Gmail, and you never have to leave. So it's a pretty cool, easy feature to do. This is actually really easy to set up. This comes actually already kind of pre-set up when you add your email, which I'll show you now how to do that. Configure Google Mail. So simple a caveman can do it. Okay, so essentially, you go in here. Let me see. There we go. So here are the steps here. You type in your Google credential, and you choose. Just kind of make sure that your mailbox is correct, and what you want to send your mail in, and you can share with other CRM users, right? So you go into Google Apps. You in the CRM setup, you type in your Google Apps username and your password. Boom! All of a sudden, your emails are connected, right? So now, if you send an email out of Gmail, you'll see it in CRM. If you send an email out of CRM, you'll see it in Gmail. So really, only step there is just to lock in your app's password. The other thing that some people do, it's an extra additional step, is this email sharing part, right? So you can decide my emails that I'm sending my customers, only me on the CRM side, do I want to see that? Or you can come in and say, well, you know what, I want to do some sharing with others. So if we're part of a sales team and we're not just locked into one person handling a lead or a contact, I'll share my messages with some of my colleagues. So when they pull up that contact in CRM, they can see the entire company's email history together, right? So if I've sent emails or if my colleagues sent emails, we'll be able to view all that. And then you can get really granular if you want, and you can choose record level sharing, which essentially means that you can choose which leads or contacts that you want to share with others within your organization. So let's say it's a big account. There's 4 or 5 support people that work on that account, and you're the whole team of that little 4 or 5 group wants to share back and forth. You can do that. But all the other records or all the other customers or clients that we have, we only want to keep it private. You can do that. The last thing that people do, so you synchronize your mail, you synchronize your contacts, and the other big one that people do is synchronizing the calendars, okay? Again, this is one where you take the Google Apps calendar and you choose which way you want to sync it, okay? So some of you guys may have multiple calendars in Google Calendar, right? Maybe you have your personal one, maybe you have a team one, company-wide, whatever you want. You get to choose which calendar you want to sync and which way you want to sync it. So again, if it's my personal calendar and I've got, like, my wife says, pick up the kid at soccer practice, that may not want to go into Zoho CRM, right? So I could personalize the calendar, and actually we have a shared calendar for our family that I use. And so I would just choose, kind of my business calendar, if you will, and then you choose which way you want to sync, whether it's a two-way sync, where if you set an entry in one, you'll get that shown in the other side, or you can choose Zoho CRM to be the boss or Google Calendar to be the boss, and choose a one-way sync. So again, this is literally, I just wanted to kind of give you the ease of use here. You go to the Zoho CRM, you go to calendar synchronization, you select sync calendar, and then you choose the two-way or one-way, and you click save. So you can do this in a matter of less than 5 minutes.